Hello students, welcome back to your online class. So in our previous class we are discussing chapter 1, that is transport of food and minerals by plants. So in that particular chapter we have already discussed in detail about how roots help in absorption of water from the soil, and after being absorbed by the root, how is it conducted throughout the plant. Now related to the same chapter we will be discussing one of the important physiological process that takes place in plants, and this particular physiological process also aids in conduction of the water. So first let us understand what is that process. So the name of the process is transpiration. Name of the process is transpiration. First let us understand what is transpiration. Okay, as we know that roots continuously absorb the water from the soil. Okay, now total amount of water that is being absorbed by the root, out of that only 1% of it is utilized for carrying out photosynthesis, and rest, the excess amount, is lost from the plants. Now how is it lost? As we know that leaves, what do they have? They have pores on the lower side of the leaves. You can see the pores. Those pores are referred to as stomata. If you observe it under the microscope only, you will observe those pores. Okay, so leaves, they have stomata, and through the stomata the excess of water is lost. Excess water is lost. Now this process by which through stomata the excess of water is lost from the leaves is referred to as transpiration. Okay, now let us understand how the transpiration helps in conduction of the water. As we know that suppose this is a plant, you have root here, leaves, so as we know that roots continuously absorb the water from the soil around and then conducts it, right? And we know that leaves, they have pores on the lower side through which the water is lost. So as soon as this water is lost from this portion, now this portion has to be filled up with the water again the water from the root is conducted to this region where it has to be filled. So this continuous transport of the water to the vacuum places or void places from which the water has been lost generates a pressure that is referred to as your transpirational pool. Transpirational pool. Now because of this transpirational pool only, the water is being able to reach to the top of the trees too. Okay, because of this transpirational pool. Okay, now next we will be discussing about the factors which help in transpiration. Okay, so first one would be your sunlight. Now light, as we know that light is essential for photosynthesis. Okay, and photosynthesis directly or indirectly has a role in opening and closing of the stomata. Okay, that's why more the sunlight, more will be the rate of transpiration. In the daytime, because there is light and the stomata remains open, the transpiration rate is higher, but at night when there is no light, the transpiration rate is more or less stopped. Okay, now next one is your temperature. Okay, more is the temperature, more will be the rate of transpiration. Greater the wind blowing, the more will be the rate of transpiration. Now next one is relative humidity. Now what is humidity? Humidity means moisture in air. So if there is enough moisture in the air already, then the rate of transpiration will slow down, because atmosphere will no more be able to take the water. Okay, water. That's why if the relative humidity is high, that means your transpiration rate will decrease. Okay, now next factor is water available in the soil. So the water that is available in the soil has direct or indirect effect. Now if there is a more amount of water in the soil, that means more osmosis is going to take place, root is going to absorb more, and if roots absorbs more, then more will be the rate of transpiration. But if the amount of water in the soil is less, then less will be the process of osmosis, and hence it will affect the rate of transpiration also. Okay, so those were the different factors affecting the transpiration. Now let us discuss about the importance of transpiration. How is transpiration important? So first importance would be cooling effect. It brings about the cooling effect in the plant. Now how does it bring about the cooling effect in the plant? Because as we know that water is lost in the form of water vapor, right? So for conversion of the water into water vapor, the amount of heat, latent heat, is utilized, okay, and thus leading to the cooling effect in the plants. So it brings about the cooling effect in the plant, and it also helps in absorption of minerals. Absorption, along with the absorption of minerals, when the water is being absorbed through the process of osmosis, okay, along with the water, some of the minerals or ions get also dissolved with the water and is carried forward. So it helps in absorption of the minerals. And as we have discussed about the transpirational pool, so it helps in conduction of the water to the tall trees also. Okay, so those are the importance of transpiration. So next we will be discussing about minerals. Okay, so minerals, as we know that it is absorbed along with the water. While the water is being absorbed by the process of osmosis, along with the water, some of the dissolved ions and minerals is also carried or conducted. Okay, and another process would be by active transport. If there is certain requirement of minerals but it is already in excess inside the plant, then through the soil, by spending energy also, you take up the minerals. Now minerals are required by the plants for carrying out, for bringing about the growth and development. Okay, there are many minerals which also acts like a cofactor for the proper functioning of the enzyme, and some of the minerals also helps in forming the skeletal framework of some of the important protein which is important for the plants. Okay, now depending upon the requirement, minerals can be of two types, micro and macro. Micro means these nutrients are required in less amount, and macro means it is required in more amount. Now your micronutrients, the examples are iron, magnesium and zinc, and macronutrients, your example is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Now in your book you can go through what are the role of the different minerals in plants, and what will happen if certain minerals are deficient, what are the different diseases that it might lead to. You can go through the content in your book for it. Okay, so that's all for this chapter. Next virtual class, whenever I will be taking the virtual class, we will again discuss the same chapter in brief. Okay, thank you.